Welcome in, I'm Artris, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different for this channel that I haven't done before. With OP04 starting, there are so many different decks to choose from, and I know a lot of people out there are still trying to figure out what they're going to be playing because the OP04 set is going to be here for at least another couple of months. So, with that being said, I wanted to at least start doing something where I'm highlighting a different deck once per week and seeing the strengths and weaknesses of those decks and how they might apply within a Treasure Cup or a regional setting. So if that's something that you're interested in or you enjoy, please make sure to drop a like and sub for more content. It helps me out immensely and it only takes a second of your time. Thank you so much. So this week I'm going to be highlighting Edward Newgate, but I'm going to be bringing you a version of the deck that you might not expect. Now, of course, with the restrictions in place, you haven't seen Newgate run 4 of the 9 cost. You always see them just run 1, and of course 1 4-cost blocker Marco. However, I'm opting to not run any of them, and the reason being, for the blocker at least, there's not enough Whitebeard pirates for it to be revived consistently, and at least with the 9-cost Newgate, there's too many things that are able to answer it now, especially with Red Rock in the meta, and it's just a little bit too slow for the way that this Strawbeard version of the deck wants to play. Before we get into any gameplay, let's quickly go over the deck list and talk about the cards within it. So, with any Newgate deck, you're typically going to be running 12 to 14 2K counters. In this version of the deck, I'm running 12. We're running 4 Otama, 4 Sanji, and 4 Makino. Of course, with these, they're mostly going to be used as 2K counters. However, there are utility purposes for these 2K counters if you so choose to use them. With Makino, you can buff your Namis and Choppers and even Otamas if you so choose by 3K power. I've taken a lot of opponents by surprise by swinging for lethal with double Makino on my Nami, and it's a great tool that not a lot of people will expect, or hope to expect at least. And the secret sauce of the deck is the 2K Sanji, which, if you play this early on, the perfect sequence of events would be like play a Chopper turn 1, turn 2, you play Sanji, swing 7 with lead, turn 3, you drop a Luffy, swing 6 with lead, and then use the Sanji ability to draw a card and then swing 7. This sequence of events is very powerful and causes your opponent to drop a lot of cards or take a lot of life early on, which leaves them in a very compromised spot that they don't like to be in. And of course, we're running quite a few blockers in this deck as well, but cheaper blockers. We're running 2 Barts. We're running 4 of the Chopper 1-cost blocker. Depending on the situation, you're probably going to play these very late. You don't really want to play them early on unless your opponent can't really deal with them. Sometimes Yellow has trouble dealing with blockers, so it's kind of safe to throw those down against like a Katakuri or a Big Mom. We're running 3 Ace. This card is extremely strong. Typically, you're going to be using this just to go face, but sometimes if you do need to clear board, it's a great way to clear the board out and stay relatively safe because you're not going to be expecting any swings from characters. We're running 4 of the 5-cost Marco. For the most part, this is just going to be used to either take out some blockers or put a body on board that is very sticky, hard for your opponent to take care of. There are some good combos you can use with it, with Crossfire, for instance, minus 4K power to something, and then you can use your Marco to KO it if you have 7 Dawn. Great tempo swing. We're running 7 of the 6K attack vanillas, so we're running 4 of the Luffy and 3 of the Frankie, not 4, 3. These are very good if you're going second. You can throw these down and have a strong 6K swing the next turn. However, if you're going first, typically you're just going to try to look for your Luffy and then use these as 1K counters. And for our counter events, we're running 1 Red Hawk, 1 Rad Beam, 2 Crossfire, 2 Bad Manners Kick Course, which is a new addition to this set, and honestly a very strong card for this deck itself, and then 4 Guard Points. The addition of Bad Manners Kick Course actually is, to me, a little bit game-changing. Oftentimes I'll find that I have some cards that I just can't use in hand. Like towards the late game, you might have Choppers in hand, Luffy's or Aces, or maybe even counter events that you can't use because you just didn't leave enough Dawn up. So with this event, it's basically a guard point, but just toss out something that is a dead card in hand, like a Luffy or an Ace towards the end of the game. So yeah, Bad Manners Kick Course is definitely an MVP in this deck, in my opinion. And it's also searchable off of Nami because it's a Straw Hat Crew type. So yeah, it's a great card, and oftentimes your opponents aren't expecting it, especially if you're tapped out. So that being said, let's get into some gameplay and see how the deck does. All right, we're going against a Zoro. I think I want to go first against Zoro. With Zoro, you kind of want to lead the aggression. I don't really like this hand, though, so we're going to mulligan it. Don't really have anything to play turn 1, which is awkward, but that's okay, I guess. What I could see my turn 2 play being is just swing 6 and then throw a Sanji and a chopper down. By the way, it's a little awkward for me to be talking and playing at the same time because typically when I play Sim, I just play the Sim. I don't talk and say my thoughts out loud. But it's something I'll have to get used to. A pistol, we have to keep that in mind. That is something that might entice us to play the Marco on curve. Playing a Marco de-incentivizes our opponent to play something that removes it because they might take a risk of like it dying and then we can revive it. Right now, we can't revive it, but they don't know that. Part of playing Newgate, it's like a little bit of a mind game. We'll do this. We'll swing 6. We're playing really risky here by throwing down the Sanji and the chopper because in the event that they have a Fire Fist, yikes. If they don't, then we made it out. They're probably contemplating countering out here. I feel like they should just take it. There's no reason to think about it. Not seeing a Rush Luffy is a little bit problematic. That does apply a lot of pressure to them, but it's okay. It's all right if we don't see it. Okay, chopper. Rook. Swing 7. They'll go pump the Makino. We'll take this. Sweet. Yep. Take that as well. I'm not going to swing into any of their units here. There's no reason to. We'll just swing 6 at lead. They've dropped 2 2Ks, so I'm comfortable just swinging 6 here. I'm not going to use my Marco on the blocker chopper. I'm just going to use it on the buggy. Use Sanji and swing. Cool. If they want to swing into the Sanji, perfect. They don't. So be it. We are in a little bit of a weird spot here because if they do decide to do it, we can't use the event. We have no events in hand. But that's in their entire turn to take care of the Marco, so I'm fine with that. We're going to be playing a little bit on the back foot, though, for a little bit, so just looking at my hand here, seeing what we can do. Yeah, sure, you can take care of the Sanji. It's not going to be able to be used anymore. I think my best play is swing 6. I think I want to play the Nami down, see if we get any events off of it. If we don't, then we can also play the chopper down. So we'll have 2 choppers and a Marco. Opponents taking their time thinking about this, though. I don't know why. It's very simple. I guess they just really value having a high amount of life. So we're playing the Nami down. If we get an event, which we do, we will KO the buggy and then pass. If they have a Diablo Jambe plus Fire Fist, or cross... No, what is the... Fiery doll. Something fire. I'm a little worried, but if they're not running it, we're fine. We don't know what version that they're running, though, so I can't quite tell you what they are running or what they're not running. If they decide to go balls to the wall and just swing all out, sure. I'm going to protect it with my Rad Beam. Go for it. Another pistol out of hand. Great. They are playing very aggressively here. Very strange. So aggressively that they are losing cards out of hand. I mean, it's very counterintuitive to how they would want to play, I think. We're just going to return with an ace here. Yep. And we're going to swing Nami at the Zoro. They should let that go, which they do. I think what I want to do here is swing 6 at lead. If they have a pistol in life, it's not going to kill Marco. This is actually a little bit more of a grindy match. Despite it being aggro, you're very much grinding out the other opponent's resources. As you saw, we were at like, I think we were at 0 life and they were at like 4. And we've managed to stay in it. So yeah, it's, as you can see, it's grindy. These Zoro matches usually are. I feel like he had a trigger. Okay, yeah. He decides he wants to get rid of the chopper, which that's fine. Just play another one and pass. Here's where they play Diablo Jambe and then the Fiery Doll. And then we just cry. That would be a lot of damage coming my way. That would be 9. No, that would be too much for me to count. How about that? All right, we're just going to counter out with the 2K. We'll counter out with another 2K. Actually, let's make them think that we don't have the 2K. We'll block. And then now they're going to pour all of their Dawn, which leaves no Dawn up for events. So now we can safely swing back into them. Should be a game. I don't think they have enough. Yep. Then we just safely put all of them on ace and then swing 17. If you want to play a little bit more safe in this scenario, you can just swing 6 or 6 and then do a Nami 5. You could swing many different ways with the Makinos, whatever you want to do, but just to get the game over with, we'll swing 17 at lead. Ooh, this is actually a very good matchup. We're going to go first here against the Croc with a decent opening hand. We're going to keep this. Croc is one that is very strong against Newgate, but I think this version of it might fare okay against Croc. We'll have to see. Honestly, it's very close either way. Swing 7 at them, throw the Sanji down, and pass. Next turn, we're going to swing with our leader first, swing with Luffy, and then swing 7. That's fine. We do have a lot of rush units, so we might be able to apply a fair amount of pressure to them. Seeing the Sentomaru does suck, but it is what it is. They're getting good value out of it. Might be a little too late, though. We'll see. We're going to get all of the 2Ks out of hand if we can. They take that, so we're going to swing 7. Get 2 more cards out of hand or take the life. Perfect. Love to see it. This turn, they might try to go all in on the Luffy, and that's where the bad manners comes in. Yeah, they don't even do that. That's perfect. They're going to go 7 at Luffy, and we'll be able to counter out. We're going to use the Otama. They're only 2K anyway. Ooh. I think this is worth saving. I think it's actually worth saving. Six with lead next. We'll play another Luffy. I think they're deciding if they want to counter out here. Basically, you want to rush down Croc as best you can before they get to like 9 or 10 Dawn. When they get to 9 or 10 Dawn, that's where they get really scary. Okay, so they're dropping 1Ks here, which means that they might not have 2 in hand. Yeah, if they use the blocker, that means that they might not have 2 in hand here. They have another blocker, which is very interesting. Okay. They took that. What do I want to do? I think I want to play a Nami. Yeah, we got the Nami just to get the Luffy. And then I'm going to just end up throwing the Chopper down. Just to be safe. We don't have anything we can really use in hand. I don't think they're going to go all in on the Sentomaru. So there's no point for me throwing Crossfire down. They 3,000 worlds my Chopper? How dare they? They might use their leader ability here to get rid of one of the Luffys, but it doesn't matter because I can just replay it again. Yeah, Sanji has done his thing, you know? Thank you, Sanji. I'm going to assume that they're going to play a Doflamingo. No, Miss All Sunday. Interesting. We're just going to swing 6. They're going to block one of them more than likely. Just to get the 3,000 worlds back. But I don't know if this turn they can survive or not. Let's see what they do. Considering they haven't played a single or countered out with a single 2K and just been doing 1Ks, they might be in a predicament where they're not feeling too good here. Yeah, that's what it seems like. I'm just going to go all in because I have 2 bad manners to save me in case. Look. We won before they hit their 9 Dawn turn. That is exactly what you want from this deck. You do not want to make it to the late game against Croc or Rebecca or whatever deck is good in late game. You want to be able to rush them down the best you can. Now, with this particular deck, or with the hand itself, we got extremely lucky and got 3 Luffys. And on top of that, we had an ace as a backup. You're not always going to have that, but you should be looking for something like this to be able to play very fast, very quick, very aggressive against decks that like to go late. Chose to go second. We don't have a Luffy in hand. We do have the Sanji, but I don't think it's good enough for me to keep. So we're going to mulligan and hope to get a better hand. That is not a better hand, but that's okay. It's actually probably one of the worst hands I could start off with. Let's see what we can do here. We can go 7. They might rest my Chopper. If they rest it, so be it. And we'll play a blocker. Not the best opening hand, not very aggressive, but that's okay. We'll get there, I guess. They're not opting to swing, which is fine. I wanted them to because I want to see what was in my life. Give me life. I think our best bet here, because the Marco isn't going to pop anything, playing a Frankie or a Luffy is probably better than playing a Marco. So we'll just swing 7, because that applies a lot of pressure to them. Either a counter event, or they just take it. They just take it. We'll play Luffy and pass. The next turn, we can play Ace comfortably. They do have quite a lot of cards in hand, though, so it is looking a little grim as far as being able to grind them out of resources, especially with Nami getting an extra resource every turn. Okay. They're resting Luffy? I see. Counter out. And we're also going to counter out again. Yep. So this interaction is going to be very awkward here because what I'm going to end up doing is just, they're going to have to rest one of these 2. I don't care which one. We're going to get rid of the sugar for sure. Awesome. I'm going to go here. 6-2. I feel like they have a way to restand it. They don't. We're also going to attack into the sugar with our blocker because I hate this character. In the event that they do have like a Punk Gibson to rest my final chopper, we are tapped out, but that's okay because we can kick course to Crossfire and be okay, I think. I don't know why they're thinking about this. What are you doing? It's minus 3,000 power. You're not going to protect it. Let it go, bro. With Doflamingo, they typically want to have as much board as possible, and the fact that they have 0 board at this point in time is amazing. However, this has been one of the slower games, so this is a good example of maybe some of the lower variants that you would come across in a tournament. You might come across where you're not able to get your rush units out. You might not be able to find your rush Luffy, and you kind of have to work around that and see how you can play with it. So yeah, he swings into the blocker, that's fine. We have to be very careful next turn because the next turn is when he can drop his 10 drop and do a lot of damage here. He's playing probably a Nami off of it. No. What is the right course of action? We need to leave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 3 Dawn to play with. Let's just go 7. Go 7 and see what they do. Now, I am probably doing the wrong thing here in attacking all, but I need to be aggressive with them because I want to be able to... I want to be able to put them to low life. Okay. We need to keep up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can swing 8 here. That's the perfect amount for them to use a counter event. I don't know why they're keeping up all this Dawn if they're not going to use a counter event. What? What are they doing? They have so many cards in hand, though, that I don't feel comfortable using my Luffy to be able to swing at them next turn. I don't know what? Swing 5? This signals that they definitely have 9 drop. Yeah. We'll take it. Or 10 drop, rather. Voila! Once again, we're gonna have to leave up 2, 3... Okay, we can actually just swing 6. They can't rest everything next turn, that's for sure. That was really ballsy of them, by the way, to swing with their blocker. Very, very ballsy. It might have been better just to leave this standing, actually, now that I think about it. In hindsight, that's what I probably should have done. If they play another one of the 10-drop Doflamingos, What do we do here? I think we just use our guard point. I think we use it because I want to save my Makinos. I want to see what they do here. We'll block with a chopper. I feel like that's what they're going to do. Sure. That's not a bad play. That leaves them very exposed, though. Are they going to stack all on? I think I can survive. Probably should have used the crossfire earlier instead of the guard point. That's okay. All right. I guess we go Red Hawk. Luffy, and then Marco for 14. They will have 2 up. Actually, so yeah, I thought that they had like a lot in their hand. They might be able to counter out of some of this stuff. I don't think they could have countered out of a 7, a 7, a 7, a 7, and then God knows what Chopper would be at that point. But you get the point. Chopper for lethal is the unexpected lethal. We love to see it. But yeah, I think that I could have played this definitely better. There was definitely some things that I could have done differently that would have been better preservation of my Dawn or my counter events. But ultimately, I think we pulled it out. The sugar there was a really good play by them, though. All right, we're going to go against a Katakuri. I think this is a good opening hand. Now, once again, you're typically going to want to go second against Katakuri, but I do think going first in this matchup isn't horrible. I'm tempted to take the Chopper, but I think the Beam is the better choice here. Beam is better for if they want to start swinging for late, which they might get to. Okay, we'll go 7. Because they don't have anything on the field, I'm actually swinging aggressively here with my Nami. Yeah. I'm gonna do it, because they have to either swing into me or they swing into the Nami. Or they swing into something else. So that's perfect. We're gonna go 6. Go 6 again. And because I want them to swing into something here, I'm going to swing again. Cards out of hand, baby. Let's go. Pass. We have another Luffy, so it's okay if this one, we can't protect it. It's not the end of the world. That is fine by me. Sure. Awesome. All right, now we're just going to swing 6 again and ask for more 2Ks. If they can't give it to us, sorry. And we can actually protect our Luffys on the crackback if we need to. I think it's really important, actually, to be able to protect them if you can. We'll see how they swing back at us. Considering they're going into 8 Dawn, they might go 8-drop Katakuri and put one of them in life. So they might just swing 7 and see how we react and then play 8. But if they put any Dawn on the leader, then we can safely assume that they're not going to put any in life and they're going to try to kill them by swinging into it. Okay, they dropped the 2K. That's awesome for us because the more 2Ks they have, the smaller hand size they have, the better. Shirahoshi out of life is good for them. Don't like to see that. Filters out the dead cards in their hand, unfortunately. Woo! I'm providing so much pressure to them. They've dropped 1, 2, 3, 4 2Ks. Okay, so they don't have Katakuri here. They might have the Big Mom 7-drop. So we're just going to go 2 here. If they swing Randolph just naked, yeah, then we can assume that they don't. Yeah, sure, we'll take it. I don't care. We're just going to swing, since we have quite a bit of Dawn to play with here. Or I think it's safe to just swing 6s here. We're going to require them to block. His hand is looking sketch. Okay. What do we do? What do we do? I think we have lethal soon. I'm just going to go for this. I counter out of everything that they have. I was thinking about going at the Randolph and getting one more card out of hand. But if they have Big Mom and they're at 0 life, they're not going to play the Big Mom. They're just going to go for lethal, and we might be able to out-counter it all. But, ooh. That doesn't matter. I don't know why I oohed. That doesn't matter. I can just swing past it. So I think we're fine. They definitely have to swing for lethal here because they cannot survive with 3 cards in their hand and 3 unblockable Luffys. The only card that's dead in my hand is this Crossfire. I can't really use it, unfortunately, because what I want to do is swing, or I want to use my beam and my 2 guard points. That's the most value I can get. I think they're trying to math it out here right now, though. Okay. 7 is fine. They go 8 here. We'll just guard point. Another 7. Okay. Yeah, we're fine getting rid of 2Ks because we have quite a few counter events here. 9. We'll use the Rad Beam because we'll have to. And then they're going to pour the rest on to their Big Mom and swing in for a big attack here, but we should be able to counter out just by enough. So there you have it. This is Strawbeard in all of its glory, being able to attack down the opponent, constantly ask for 2Ks, chip away at their life, take out blockers, whatever it may be. If you like aggressive built decks, this deck is definitely for you. I think we'll see a lot more of it played as we go into the meta. People will start to figure out, oh, this late game meta of Doflamingo, Rebecca, Crocodile, Queen, these decks, they lose to aggressive play. So I think Strawbeard will definitely be a deck we'll see rise up as we get to continue into the meta. That being said, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something from it. This is a video that I'm not used to making, so it might be a little bit awkward to start, but we'll improve as we go along. It's not really natural to play these games and then talk while playing them, so really appreciate the patience. If you guys have any decks that you'd like me to play in future videos, please leave in the comments what deck you'd like me to play. I'll take a look at it and see what I can cook up with and hopefully have something good for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.